Okay, my friends. So this is Mr. Lou Martin and my Awakened Spirits Network, and I have the great pleasure of chatting with my friend from the North, Vancouver, Canada, Ms. Jessica Schab. Jessica, how are you today?
I'm lovely and great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm delighted to be here with you, is how I am, and we're going to talk about LifeWave and patches, which you have one in a nice uh, spot there on your shoulder. Lovely, lovely.
Yeah. Yes.
So So yes, you and I have just done this for a couple months individually on our own, and now we're catching up with each other. You and your mom have an amazing, wonderful story. Will we start there with how it all began?
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
well, I get very emotional just thinking about it because
Bless you.
my mother has I'm just yeah, just already getting emotional. My mother has suffered with horrible, horrible pain and let's say excruciating agony in the head. Actually, I should probably start with a little bit of a compliance that that this doesn't treat, heal, and cure. But it's just purely coincidental, happens to be that this patch ended up, making such a massive difference in our lives shortly after discovering it. Um, but yes, so my mother's had chronic migraines for over 5 decades.
Wow.
Since her first child, she has 5 kids. I'm the middle child.
Okay.
And I grew up with my mother just in horrible, horrible, agony.
Wow.
Um, and I missed a lot of time with her because she was just in bed because they would last for 3 days where she couldn't eat, sleep, and pretty much couldn't keep anything down either, constantly as well.
Wow.
And then the other 3 days were spent trying to recover from that, which was just like a perpetual hangover kind of a thing.
Wow.
And as a kid, I heard my mother constantly beg me to decapitate her.
Good Lord. I'm
And
so sorry.
yeah, and so that's actually how I started to be interested in being a healer.
I'll bet.
Um, because
I will
yeah,
bet.
yeah, because I've been a healer for quite a while, but people don't really know how exactly it started, and it started because of that. And it turns out that I could heal everyone but her, which was really, really hard because particularly when you're an empath and you other people suffering, particularly your loved ones, is yours, right? And when you can't do anything about it, it's very difficult to accept something like that. So
Sure.
from a young age, I went and, dragged my mother to every healer,
Sure.
practitioner,
Sure.
therapy, whatever there was to try to help her.
Yes.
I refuse, like, because when you're suffering like this and it's such a big part of your life, people who live with these sort of health issues,
Yeah.
um, they you have two choices. You either accept it, make the best of it, and just kind of that's it, can't do anything about it, so whatever, right?
Yeah.
Play the hand you have been dealt. Um, and then there's also the other option, which is refuse to, accept it and keep looking for something sooner or later.
Sure.
You'll find something up that can help. And
Yes.
so this has been a long, long time, and I have
Wow.
been sharing since YouTube came out. I started making videos and I shared about my family and my life, and
Right.
I hadn't been shy about that. I pretty much, have been in like a confession booth to the world is how I've used these video platforms and
Sure. Bless you.
yeah, so everyone does know about my mother and I haven't, I always talked about that and looking for things all the time to help her. And I just recently, maybe about a little bit more than 2 months ago,
Yeah.
um, came across a friend that was telling me is a freedom fighter. So I was, interested, and I was also at this point too, where, yeah, it was, I was just looking, all the time for something,
Sure.
right? And so I
Sure.
was told about these patches
Right.
and how to help them with their, excruciating back pain. 'Cause I'm trying to avoid naming names, but you guys know what my mother had with her head and excruciating back pain. You can think of the title, these names of this
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
there's names for all of
Um,
it. Yeah.
so just for compliance and stuff like that, I'm trying to be careful here.
You're fine.
And
Yeah, you're doing great.
I yeah. Anyway, he talked about his relief from it and how miraculous it was. And we were very skeptical. I'm like, no way can a sticker do like all that. It was just
Right. Right.
mind-boggling. But at the same time, like you have to be open-minded and be willing to try, because if you don't try, you never know. And my poor mother has been my guinea pig. I try everything on her first and I see, and there's several things, it would like pretty much everything we've tried hasn't worked.
Sure.
And but again, we keep going, right?
Yeah,
I look
yeah.
at it like,
Yeah.
Edison saying, well, I didn't find, I didn't fail 1,000 times in making a light bulb. I found 1,000 ways how not to make a light bulb, right? So, I mean, it's
Yes.
so easy to give up when you have this many failures, but like you
Sure.
just keep going, keep trying.
Sure, sure.
And so, we to my surprise, so there's another thing I have to share is that
Yeah.
in the last 6 years, my mother started to shake profusely like this
Right.
all the time.
Wow.
And we thought it was Parkinson's.
Yeah.
The doctor told her that she was never going to get rid of it. Um, and lo and behold, our friend comes over with the patch and he lets us try some and he puts it on my mother and she immediately starts to feel tingling in her jaw.
Okay.
So it starts to work instantly.
Right.
And she stopped shaking immediately.
First time
And
in 6 years.
first time in 6 years. And so what it actually was is it wasn't it wasn't Parkinson's, it was actually neurological damage
Okay.
from being in that much pain and agony
Right.
for 5 decades.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and also not being able to sleep for a long period of time as well,
Yeah.
because when you have this kind of pain and you don't know when it's going to show up, then it's like trying to sleep with a tiger in your room. You're always on your guard, right?
Yes. Yes. Incredible.
And
Yeah.
so
Man. Heartbreaking.
so she stopped shaking, and now she still does a tiny bit, but significantly less than she did before.
Right.
The migraine, she hasn't had a migraine ever since we first patched her.
Hallelujah.
Yes, but
Yes.
that's not all. There's been some other amazing things too. So I mean, I can also talk about my back. I don't know what I did, but uh about, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 months ago, I just started to get a really, really sore back. And I started to become very limited with what I could do. I couldn't do kickboxing. I couldn't do my taekwondo. I couldn't even do yoga. I could barely walk. I could barely stand up straight. And it was very frustrating because before I could just, get a massage or see the chiro and it would just be fixed like that. And in this case, that didn't,
Yeah.
nothing worked. And I'm
Yeah.
like, is this what it means to get older? It's just that it takes longer to heal and repair. And it was just extremely frustrating. And
Sure.
so he put an X39 on me, and I honestly didn't notice much. But then I was given an ice wave. And an ice wave, I wasn't able to touch my feet in such a long time. I was able to go right down to my toes like that. I was like, what? Like
Wow.
it was very, very shocking.
Yes.
Um,
Beautiful.
the other thing to add, going back to my mom, and I'll
Yeah.
jump back to myself too, because there's so much that I've made a post on my Facebook about our story, but there's a
Yes.
lot that happened since then. So
Okay.
about my the garden video I
Yes.
made with my mother,
Yes.
how proud
Lovely.
we are in our garden. But what also was happening before these patches was that she was starting to show early signs of Alzheimer's and was forgetting everything.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
garden videos are significant because she was even forgetting her plants that she
Right.
had. Now, to be fair, she does have hundreds, if not thousands of plants. You've seen
Yeah.
the videos.
It looked big. Yes. It looked very big.
Not only does she now remember all of her plants,
Right.
but she's also remembering the Latin names.
Wow.
So that kind of a garden, I mean, it's not much, but we make it, the best with that space. It's 1/4 of a hectare or something, a little under. And it's a lot to weed. My mother didn't have the energy to
Sure.
look for it. And now, because of these patches, she has these energy and then some to me to look
Great.
after it all by herself. She's 71.
Okay. Okay.
And there's another thing that I've noticed with these is how
Yeah.
quickly, I don't know if you've experienced this yet, but
Right.
how quickly you heal on them. So everyone has stem cells. Our body makes it naturally.
Right.
By the time we reach age 30, our body makes 50% less stem cells.
Right.
And that's why we start to feel tired, sore, and old, and it takes longer to repair,
Yes.
our body, as opposed to when we were kids and so forth. They're just right there. Okay,
Yes.
fine. Right.
Yes.
And so this I we you're the more you wear it, the more like you start to reverse your age, as you know too,
Yes.
because what reactivates your stem cells,
Right.
it doesn't put any stem cells in your body. Now, a lot of people
Right.
pay thousands and thousands of dollars
Right.
just for one injection of stem cells,
Right.
and it doesn't always work,
No.
and it can create a lot of health problems. Not to mention that it is extremely um
Expensive.
not just expensive, but
Yeah.
I'm looking for a certain word where it's not
Well, it can be toxic. It can be harmful.
the source of it though is suspicious of
Oh, okay. Yes, it could come from
yes,
aborted fetal cells.
exactly, and
Yeah.
we don't know what exactly is being done to those
No.
children.
No. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
so
It's
it's that's what I'm
morally
getting at
questionable.
there.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's what I was
Yes.
getting there.
Yes.
Um,
I
and
hear you.
so I just want to clarify that it's not putting any stem cells in your body. Nothing's coming in as photo light technology,
Right.
much like infrared sauna sort of a thing. So it's getting your body to activate and
Right.
rejuvenate your stem cells to do it for you, basically.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so the speedy healing almost made me feel like an X-Men kind of a thing where you repair. So,
Yes. Yes.
so the story is my mother for some stupid reason decided to wash her feet in the sink, and she fell back and landed really hard on the shower where there's elevated concrete, the corners, and hit her spine, hip, and was in a lot of pain and had a massive, massive bruise. Now, when you're 71 and you fall, or in your 70s or 80s and you fall,
Break
you
things.
you break your hip because you're so brittle, but your bones are so brittle
Yeah.
at that time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you get pneumonia and you die.
It can happen.
My mom, waited a bit for me to come home, and when I came home, not only was she not in any more pain, but the bruise had completely vanished. And she's like, "No, there was a really big bruise here. I swear." I'm like, "I don't know what to say. I don't see it, Mom." And because
That's
she wanted
great.
it for her kind of a thing, she wanted to
Sure.
show me, like, but she didn't know what disappeared. I'm like, "I don't see anything, Mom. I don't know what's
Right.
going on."
Right. Right. Right.
And I was like, "Okay, that's a bit strange." We didn't quite know what to make of that. I didn't know, was she making that up, because I didn't see it.
Hello.
I
Yeah.
have her word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I love to swim, and I've been making
Yes.
the most of my summers, as I've been sharing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I ended up jumping off a dock, and I ended up hitting my leg really hard under the water,
Hmm.
and I ended up getting a massive bruise the size of a baseball on my leg, and I decided to patch it, and within 14 hours it disappeared, the
Wow.
bruise.
Wow.
And I didn't have any pain there at all. And I'm just like, what the heck? And then we also, our landlord lives downstairs. And when we first got patched, he also got patched with us. And he didn't notice a difference at all with the X39. And then fast forward a few weeks later, he ended up getting a really bad foot infection. And I'm like, well, let me just patch you. And I did. And his infection went away like literally overnight.
Wow.
And that was it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Like you say, it is like being in an episode of a science fiction story, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like repair, just like that.
Right.
Um, so and then
Beautiful.
another testimonial for me,
Yeah.
and what
Yeah.
like X39 is the staple patch, that's the conversing patch, and that's a really amazing patch. And I definitely
Yes.
recommend everyone start with that.
Yes.
Don't go crazy when you get the bigger packages and overpatch, because we've done that too. And then it's not a good idea. You need to ease yourself into it. It is a shock
Right.
to your body to reactivate
Right.
your stem.
Right.
But so for me, I've also ever since I first started my cycle as a woman,
Yeah.
I've had a very difficult time with cramps.
Okay.
And to the point that during that time, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to see anyone.
Right.
Lay in bed and pretty much cry and pass the time.
Bless
And
you.
again, everything and nothing really works either. We
Sorry.
can't use painkillers, my mom and I, because it's just like for my mom, it's just completely damaged your liver after a while. Painkillers,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And, they oftentimes they just don't work, and then they just keep doing more and more damage. And
Yes.
so I've always been nervous of that as well. And
Sure, honey. Sure.
yeah, not even like CBD helps or anything like this. So I
Right.
was told that, and same for my mom, and that even didn't do anything. So
Okay.
not only that is we're not the most pleasant sometimes to be around when we have
Well,
this
you're in
time.
pain, you know,
I
pain,
don't know if you
pain hurts.
noticed, but for me it was like an emotional roller coaster. I had no control over my emotions.
Okay.
And so
Sure. It's rough.
but it wasn't pleasant for people in the house with me. Let's
Well,
put it that way.
that's,
And yeah. And so and with the Aeon
yes.
patch, um I could still, feel or see the emotions. I was still experiencing them, but I was detached to them. I
Wow.
didn't have to react to them. It was like a TV, they were on a TV screen projected outside of me.
Right.
Um, and I knew I could be objective to them. And it was
Right.
really wild because there was like a separation between me and them for the first time ever,
Wow.
as opposed to feeling like there's some gnome living in my head playing going bonkers with the controls and
Right.
dials.
Right.
And the pain greatly subsided too.
Wow. Wow. Beautiful. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
been so much more pleasant. And my mom is like, wow, you're like a new person with this,
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
when we first tried these patches, my mother's like, and she's the stingiest person ever when it
Okay.
comes to, because I'm always like, I will put money in to help my mom if it will help
Sure.
my mom, like kind of a
Sure.
thing.
Sure.
And
Bless
but
you.
after a while, because she's been so discouraged with everything, she's
Right.
just like, money, whatever,
Yeah.
don't do it, whatever, or it will work for a little bit, but maybe not continue on or anything like that. She was like, I never want to be without these patches. Get me the biggest pack.
Right.
She also was super curious about the other patches, so we really wanted to try those too. But like I said, it's like a bunch of cookies on the table. Make
Right.
sure you still with the X39, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
activate the other ones. So the Aeon though is definitely my favorite patch. I also
Okay.
really like the X49 because that one, I don't know if you know, is the human Faraday cage patch that they because
Yes.
what
Yes. I did hear that. Yes. It protects you from 5G and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's really phenomenal. And I've got to notice the difference. Not only that is it, really helps with your bones, your muscles, your joints, and all of that kind of strengthening. And you did an interview with a guy who was a pro tennis
Yes.
player, and retired
Mario.
and out of retirement.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
to beat younger kids kind of a thing at
Well,
tennis. So
it's
that's like
funny.
that sports
Yeah.
endurance.
Yeah. I just was on a call. That's brilliant. That's brilliant, Jessica. Everything you're sharing is so helpful here, hon. Let me just interject. I was just on a call with Mario a few days ago, and he looks younger and healthier than he did a month ago. You know,
And
it's
how long has he
incredible.
been for? How long has he been on the patches for?
I think 2 years. So he's been on the X Patch for a while now. But yeah, and like you're saying, there is the X39 patch. We know is like the star of the show. That's what you start with. That's the baseline. Everything begins from there, and then people can start to experiment like you have and branch out and try different patches for different things. But I mean, again, you and I, we've always like I did not know all those details about your dear mom. God bless her. That's one of the heaviest stories I've heard in a long time. And you're both just my heroes for surviving that and getting each other through all that. Bless your heart. And it's fantastic to hear such a happy outcome from such a incredibly deep and challenging thing. And as we were saying, condition, as we were saying just beforehand, before we started talking here, we're encountering people now, who have a lot of expectations, a lot of hopes, a lot of years of pain and fear and dealing with things that don't work or people that don't have an answer for them. So it can get a little confusing, a little intense sometimes. But, I think you and I are on the same page, my friend, in that we've never seen anything like this, you know, and it's helping people, and it's certainly worth people giving it a chance to try out and see if it works for them.
Exactly. And I mean, I know that my mom and I are one patch wonders, and that's not the case for everyone. So just keep that in mind with people who, you know, when you have your experience, it could
Sure.
be the first one like us,
Yeah.
or it could be a few days, few weeks, or even a month. But just the more you wear it, the more you notice a difference. As long as you drink plenty of water and have your Celtic sea salt, which is the electrolytes that stimulate and activate the patches as well.
Yeah.
Um,
It'll be
and
grand.
just also learning how to, making sure you research and learn exactly how to use the patches, where to place them, and so forth. There's a lot of different information out there, and
Yes.
sometimes it's it where it hurts. Sometimes it's placed it in the where they did the peer review spots, like the back of the neck, or 2 fingers underneath the belly button.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Brilliant.
but yeah, like even just like what's also really wild about this is like we've
Yeah.
only been wearing it for 2 months.
Right.
And I know, like you had to start reversing your age. It's every decade that you're alive, right?
Right. It's 6 months
My
if you're
mom is
60. Yeah.
70, then you know she would 7 months, but now
Right.
minus,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And for me too, right? So, but we're
Sure.
already noticing. You're already noticing it. Like your hair color is going from gray to the dark original color again. So
Right.
when my mother starts to, you know, when she gets to the 7 month mark, her, and it's already starting, but
Right.
you really start to reverse age. Like her original hair color is coming back too. It's
Right.
getting thicker. The collagen is tightening in the face
Right.
as well. So I know people are like, well, wow, what's so different about you? Well, one, it does give you a lot of energy. Like you're a kid, I have so much energy. I always like, yeah, like people can't keep up with me and my energy.
That's
It's so
great.
tricky. I'm
I'm
my mom.
waiting.
We're like little kids again, you know?
Yes.
And like I'm so used to always doing things on my own and not having my mom to hang out with. And now out of the blue, she's like, "Oh, you're going camping for 6 days. Can I come?" I'm like, "Of course you can. Are you
Great.
okay to come?"
Great.
Like she's like, "Yeah, I can do it." And I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, and she did. And now like
Wow.
every time I'm planning things, she's like, "Can I come?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
I love
Like,
this.
can
I love this.
can I be in your video? Yeah, of course you can. Like it's just like I'm in shock. Like I
Sure, honey.
literally have my mom back and
Yes,
like
dear.
all of
Yes.
that lost time kind of a thing. And we can get to kind of I get to enjoy her in a way that I didn't get to enjoy her before.
It's glorious, sweetheart. Bless your heart. I'm so happy for both of you. That's just huge, Jessica. Of course, it's overwhelming. My God, your inner child is having a field day, you know, at long last. It's fantastic. Bless you. Yes, it's so exciting, honey. Yeah. Well, and sweetheart, you and I were saying, you know, because we've both been healers and we've done a lot of healing work on ourselves and with many other people. And, you know, we both were praying for more help, you know, and that's when these patches showed up. And I hear this from so many people. So I just want to put that out there. You know, you and your mom and me and my, you know, I had the cancer surgery a year and a half ago. I nearly died from all that. So, you know, these things get our attention, and God, you know, has been very good to both of us and all of us. And I know the best is yet to come. This is a whole new chapter.
Well, the other thing that just blew me away about the company, like I'm very selective and I'm really when it comes to integrity of a company, like I'm not a salesperson. I don't consider myself anything like this. Um I'm a freedom fighter and I'm a light worker. And I was thrilled to find out that this was the case for this company as well, too, that
Yes.
that's the of the patches. You know, he's involved with all the, you know, speaking at all the big, you know, freedom fighter platforms like with Stu
Right.
Peter, Michael Dow,
Right. Okay. I
and
didn't
so
know.
many more, you know,
Right.
wonderful, wonderful interviews that they've done. And also they're very faith-based as well. So
Yes.
you know that he came up
I
with
do.
these, or maybe I learned from you the video you shared about how he came up with the patches by reading codes in the Bible and
Right.
realizing that um, we're meant to live a lot longer. And as a
Right.
kid, I always suspected that. I always felt like that I was here to find out a bunch of things. And one of the things was that we we're meant to live a lot longer. And how do
Right.
we get? And the
Right.
ringing secrets of Russia is a big like part of that
Sure.
as well too. And we've done
Sure.
an interview about that, you and I.
Yes,
This
yes.
is
I was going to bring this up today as well. Yeah, go on.
our second interview I think we've done together.
Yes.
Is it? Yeah. So,
The two or three, yeah.
or third? Is it
Yeah,
our
I think so.
third?
I think it might be the third. Yeah, I think
My
so.
gosh, I have to see what the first one was again. Probably a long time ago, right? Because I've
It's
been
been a few
speaking.
years. It's been a few years, honey.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah. So, but you know, they have like they talk about Anastasia's grandfathers living to like 500 years of age, and our ancestors living that long. And in the Bible, Moses and Methuselah lived to 900 years of age.
Right.
So there's
Right.
something that they're doing with us to shorten our lifespan to be able to control us more.
Sure.
And all of that is now being lifted as we awaken and shift beyond, you know, all these limitations as we with this pandemic, we realize, you know, who we really are and what we're capable of and why they're so afraid of us that they've you know, worked for thousands of years to disconnect us from our divinity. And
Well
there are so
said.
many stories about people living to much longer than we know
Sure.
of that's been
Sure.
being kept from us. There's even a story about these people on an island that were living to 500 years of age, and then they started nuclear testing there in the 60s, and they dropped their age span to about 80, right? So I was like, this is just incredible that this, you know, we're living in this time now. I was told at a young age that this is a very exciting time to be alive, and it sure is because of all these revelations and this apocalypse, which it really means these two words aren't scary at all, but they actually mean in Latin come to light of what's been hidden, and not just within the corruptions and the evils of the world and our leaders, but
Yes.
also within ourselves, the secrets within ourselves, which is why I call my work soul archaeology, right? So we're all these
Beautiful.
things are revealed as we come through to the amnesia veil, you know, and
Great name.
remember
Lovely.
everything, right? And
Yes.
recognize each other, you know, as our family and soul family,
Yes.
and the
Yes.
journey that we've been on to get to where we are. And so,
Hey.
for me, integrity is everything. And like,
Yeah.
I cannot stand dog eat dog, every man for
Sure.
themselves. So what I love also about this company is just how much they care about truly helping people,
Yeah.
because David was pushed to sell a lot, like put the prices a lot higher and all that for the patches, and
Sure.
he refused. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to be the reason that people don't, you know, have this experience with these
Right.
patches and benefit from them, which I was really impressed by as well.
Oh
And
yeah.
now he also decided to go the network marketing route, which scares a lot of people because they've had a lot of bad experiences in the past. It's understandable, but if we don't try, we never know. It's also changed as well. Just like the technology we have towards our healing,
Yeah.
we also have now a new way of doing a business, because
Right.
I always dreamed of a business where my success is other people's success and other
Yes.
people's success is my success.
Yes.
And it's hard for me to function any other way. Even though I happened to be working in a matrix job when
Right.
this came out,
Right.
and
Sure.
my contract was ending, and
Ah.
I've been like, I was making I don't know if you know, I was working on a really gory, well-known video game called Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Okay. I knew had something to do with graphics. That's all I knew.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've done a lot of Disney projects and Marvel projects, which is
Right.
now one name, and Netflix, and
Okay.
animated VFX, you name it, I've probably done
Right.
it.
Right.
And so but it's a matrix job. They're cool jobs, but they're matrix jobs, even
Right.
though I was managing the artists, and work in
Okay.
different departments, getting things done, liaison with the producer, the director, the clients, and just making sure nothing, you know, falls through the cracks and everything like
Sure.
that.
Sure.
And but it's a matrix jobs, and you're still like distracting people, desensitizing people, and it's
Right.
not, you know, helping anything for the bigger picture of what's
Right.
going on here. We're not our jobs and so forth. And at that time when I discovered the patches as well, I didn't know about the business side of it, you know, and I was just finishing up my contract, and I was like, well, I've been through several studios now, and it doesn't work out for one reason or another, and I know that's the universe telling me I don't belong here, even though I've been like mostly as an entrepreneur traveling the world as a spiritual teacher. And then
Sure.
I took away from that, and then I which I think we've done an interview and covered
Yes.
that. And I
Yes.
came, and I like, so then I decided just to be sort of, you know, try out the normal job thing, work on
Right.
that month, work on my, you know, left
Right.
brain and knowing how to kind of live in the matrix and
Yes.
understand certain things.
Yes.
that it's unbearable and I can't do it anymore and it's not anyway. So, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do? And simultaneously, I'm sharing about my experience with the patches. And like I said, I'm not a salesperson, but I absolutely love to share what I believe in
Absolutely.
and what is going to help others.
Yeah,
And
sure.
um,
Same.
and
Yeah,
oftentimes when we do that, we don't get compensated, but we still passionately share because we know it will help others.
sure.
And in this case, I am getting compensated. And they
Nice.
are really integral and they are also really, really generous.
Yes,
And
yes.
their business is so beautiful. And like I said, like if because and I was really badly burnt with a previous company, that ran the same sort of a way, but it turned out, just not to be legit at all. And I'm someone that I'm not afraid to, if I go into something and I find it's not legit or integral, I will speak up about it publicly and I will stop everything I'm doing and I
Yeah,
won't continue on with them. It's
sure,
just the way
sure.
I am. And
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
it's, it's understandable that we've had these bad experiences, but doesn't mean that just because it was like that in the past, doesn't mean it's going to be like that in the future, in the present, right? We have to
Yes.
constantly take this leap of faith, like I did with my mom and the patches, and just to
Yeah,
keep trying and not giving
yeah.
up. Well, nothing's worked for us, so nothing ever will. So might as well not try, which is what we do all the time
Well,
with
yeah,
companies, but also with relationships. I've been so badly hurt. I'm never gonna be in a relationship again. There's no one for me. And I hear this all the time. But if you don't give that person a try, if you don't try, then you'll never know, right? So
that's right.
uh,
That's
that's
right.
so grateful. And just as I'm just learning more about them and how they work, it's just so incredible that now like we get to be a part of something like this as well. And then they also are like offer all expenses paid trips too, that you earn. Um,
Yeah,
and then another really incredible thing happened. So I'm only 2 months in, and I'm already a manager by my first month. I ranked. I wasn't even trying. All I was doing was just sharing my
sure,
experience, and it just
sure.
spoke to people. And again, people know me, and they've heard me share about my mother for such a long time, and they see the difference in me as well too. I can't not hide that. Like
But
everything's changing.
don't
My
hide it.
skin, my skin is changing. My
Right,
my face is changing. My body is changing. I'm losing weight.
right.
Um,
Bless you.
all these kind of things.
Yeah,
And
it's wonderful, isn't it?
I love documenting the transition of the before and after as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and so to my surprise, like I have I love to share when people ask me about the patches, I'll share a Zoom presentation with Carrie Robinson, who is with the This Is It team.
Okay,
Which apparently like This Is It is like the biggest team in the company. It like put the company, like exploded the company to make it
totally.
the #1 company in the world.
Yes,
And there's nothing like it because no one else is doing like age reversal in this way.
right,
Um,
right, right.
and
There's
so
nothing else like it. Yes.
so she's actually she's been with the company for 20 years. And X39 is one of their newest patches with the age reversal that was recently patented. The inventor, David Schmidt, has over 180 patents. And so it's only came out in the last few years. And anyway, that's what's really made this company boom, right?
Yeah,
And so anyway, she's very, very successful in this company. Let's put it that way. She's thousands of people
yeah,
um, with her that she trains, but I was very much looking up to her, and she's like one of my role models. And
sure.
she reached out to me. She made time for me out of
Right.
the thousands of people she has, and that really blew me away. And
Yes,
I just was, I guess, very much standing out with my uplines. And I was
yes.
gifted a ticket to attend the convention live. I never imagined or dreamed I would be going, to something like this so soon, or to meet the inventor of the patches and everyone as well. And it's really mind-boggling. I'm still in shock. I can't believe like this is happening, kind of a thing. I'm
I'm
going to
so
Texas.
happy for you. I'm so
I'm
happy
going
for you.
to, and I'm going to like, and I have the money because of the company already has compensated me so
Right,
nicely that I can
right.
afford to fly out there and do all this. Um,
It's
it's
good.
just cool. Now suddenly I'm going to
Great.
Florida and just life is taking on a pattern of its own. All like really thanks to these miraculous patches. Like it literally changed my life in so many ways. So like, and this is a way that we can also the network marketing is one of the most powerful ways to market, like even more so than the $1 billion industry of advertising.
Right.
Because they could easily just pay influencers and stuff like that, but it's so much more um
Well,
special.
word of
Like,
mouth is the best way
yeah,
for people to learn about
to
things.
tell your friends and your
Yeah,
loved ones kind of the thing, right?
yeah,
And help each other financially as well, and step out of the system and the matrix and have your own, where you're not anyone's boss, you're not answering to anyone, and it's really
yeah,
up to
honey.
you,
Yeah,
you know, how
yeah,
you do it and things like that. And just it's just so it's like transitioning. It's a business for the new earth,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
really feel that we're here, to facilitate the death of an old world and birth a new one.
Beautiful. Yeah, hon. Beautiful. Well, Jessica, that ticks every box on my list over here, my friend. Honest to goodness, that's just you've covered everything I had hoped that we might talk about today here, and you've given me a lot to think about. And of course, I'm just, as I said earlier, I'm so inspired by you personally and your integrity. And God bless you and your mom. That whole story is absolutely a Hollywood movie, if ever I heard one. That you have come through all of that, and now the two of you have each other at long last after decades of struggle and pain and survival. So, yes, how good can we stand it? We'll find out together, I hope, and help the world to wake up to how powerful we are, and how loving and brilliant the universe actually is, and it's right there at our door. It's for anyone who wants to do this work. It's great.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the future and to see, your journey as you go more further, a longer time experiencing the patches. Like we hear just these amazing, amazing stories with people who are on them years, 2 year,
Yes,
it,
yes.
wild,
Well,
wild journey that we're all
yes,
part of.
yes, beautiful. Can we leave it there for the moment, and we'll pick this up again when you're back from Dallas and you have 1,000 other things to tell me.
Sure. Sounds
Okay.
great. This is
All right,
perfect.
sweetheart. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's always a joy. I love you. Have a wonderful day, and please give your mom a hug from all of us that are so proud of her for hanging in there and making it to this magical point in her life. Wonderful.
Pleasure, will do. Yeah. Yes, everyone's so blown away by my mother because they've seen her shaken now. They see the massive difference in her too. And they're all wondering, like, what's your secret? What did you do? And so wow, it's just so incredible. I'm just so grateful and so, yeah, excited for everyone.
Me too, honey. Me too. Full speed ahead. All my love, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks a million.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now. You're welcome, honey. My pleasure.